Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking what I like to call the high-stakes balancing act of inventory management. Whether you're running a massive global supply chain or just a local retail shop, the principles of what stays on your shelves and for exactly how long can literally make or break your profitability. So let's dive right into this and see how the experts manage this massive logistical puzzle.
It's kind of a fundamental question, isn't it? Why do we hold stock at all? Think about it. If we lived in a perfect world, we'd just make things exactly when a customer asks for them, right? We'd manufacture on demand, ship instantly, and never have to pay for a dusty warehouse. But, well, reality is messy. Demand is unpredictable, suppliers are sometimes late, and production lines, they break down. So, companies basically hoard goods as a buffer against the chaos of the real world.
Imagine your production process as a ship sailing on the water. Now that water, that represents your inventory. When the water level, your stock, is high, the ship sails smoothly. Everything looks great. But look underneath the surface. That high water is actually hiding these massive, jagged rocks. And those rocks are your operational problems. Machine downtime, missing staff, quality defects, maybe scheduling errors. High inventory protects you, sure, but it also completely masks these underlying inefficiencies that you really should be fixing.
To really master this, we're going to walk through a clear syllabus today. First, we'll look at the inventory dilemma. Then, the true costs of warehousing. Third, the logic of push versus pull strategies. Fourth, the economic order quantity. And finally, we'll wrap up with strategies for your leftovers.
All right, Section 1, the inventory dilemma. What are we actually storing?
According to the logistics experts at Mechalux, not all stock is created equal. It generally falls into 4 buckets. First up, we have cycle stock. This is your bread and butter, the essential inventory you need just to satisfy daily, normal demand. Next is seasonal stock, which you accumulate for specific peak times, think the holidays or Black Friday. Then there's safety stock, basically your emergency fund to handle unexpected spikes in demand or supplier delays. But this bottom one, this is what you really need to watch out for: inactive stock. These are obsolete, damaged, or just dead items. Cycle and safety stocks are absolutely crucial for smooth operations, but inactive stock is a massive drain on your resources. It's literally just cash sitting on a shelf doing nothing.
Moving on to Section 2, the true costs of warehousing, the price of holding.
Now, moving from visual analogies to the hard numbers of running a warehouse, your financial expenses essentially fall into 3 main slices. First, holding costs. This is the capital tied up in the goods, your insurance, warehouse space, and the risk of things just going obsolete. Second, we have ordering costs. Every single time you place an order, you pay for administration, transportation, receiving, the whole shebang. Finally, there are stockout costs, the lost sales and brand damage you take when a customer wants something and you just don't have it. So the really crucial point here is that holding costs compete directly with ordering costs. If you order huge batches, your ordering costs drop, but your holding costs skyrocket. On the flip side, if you order tiny batches constantly, your holding costs are practically zero, but your ordering costs, they will eat you alive.
Which brings us to Section 3, logic, push versus pull. How to decide exactly when to order.
So how in the world do companies navigate these competing costs? Well, they use overarching logic systems. First is what we call push logic. This is entirely forecast-driven. You look at historical data, predict what customers will want, and you literally push materials through production based on that expected demand. Systems like Materials Requirements Planning, or MRP, operate right here. Conversely, pull logic is demand-driven. Production is only triggered when an actual order comes in. You're pulling the product through the system based on real customer need, aiming to keep inventory as lean as humanly possible.
Now, what's really interesting is how the timelines physically separate these 2 approaches. In push logic, the production time is actually longer than the delivery time. Because manufacturing takes longer than the customer is willing to wait, you absolutely have to produce based on a forecast. In pull logic, however, the production time is shorter than or equal to the delivery time. The system reacts instantly to actual orders, which pretty much eliminates the need for massive forecast-based stockpiles.
All right, Section 4, the economic order quantity. This is the holy grail of inventory math.
But what if you're buying standard goods, and you just need to know the perfect mathematical amount to order to minimize those competing costs we talked about? Let's look at the first half of the Wilson model puzzle. As the quantity of items you buy increases, your holding costs climb in a straight, linear line. The more stock you have sitting around, the more you pay for space, insurance, and tied-up capital. It's a direct, totally unavoidable relationship. Now let's factor in the ordering costs. Unlike holding costs, ordering costs actually form a downward curve. Basically, the more you order at once, the less frequently you have to pay those fixed administrative and transport fees. And right where those two lines intersect, a point known as Q star, that's where the magic happens. At this exact quantity, your total costs reach their absolute minimum. This is the economic order quantity. It's literally the mathematically perfect order amount.
And when you apply that perfect math in reality, your inventory levels over time form this beautifully synchronized sawtooth pattern. You receive your optimal order quantity, it depletes steadily over time as items are consumed, and then right before you hit zero, boom, a new order arrives, spiking the inventory back up. It's a beautifully synchronized rhythm of consumption and instant replenishment.
So, to summarize the core takeaway of the economic order quantity, it's really all about finding the perfect balance. Inventory management is ultimately a giant tug-of-war between two competing financial forces. The EOQ gives you the analytical tool to find the exact sweet spot where your holding expenses and ordering expenses are perfectly balanced to save you the absolute most money.
Finally, Section 5, Strategies for Leftovers. Because let's face it, sometimes the math fails.
Because perfect forecasts are practically impossible and excess dead stock always happens, how do we handle the leftovers? Well, SmartWorks lays out 5 really actionable steps for a great clearance sale. Number 1, nail your pricing strategy by calculating your break-even point and checking out the competitors. 2, timing is everything. Start clearance at the tail end of a season, like sell winter coats in late February, definitely not July. 3, use clear, bright marketing. Bargain hunters just want to see the word clearance. 4, offer the biggest discount first to immediately move that heavy drag on your profits. And 5, connect with new customers. A lot of bargain hunters might be first-time visitors, so get them on an email list to turn them into loyal, repeat shoppers.
But what if the clearance sale just doesn't work? You absolutely must have an ultimate exit strategy to clear that valuable shelf space. You just can't hold on to stale products forever hoping they'll magically sell. You can donate the leftovers to charity, which, by the way, often provides a really helpful corporate tax break. You could give them away as free gifts to reward your most loyal customers. Or you can liquidate them on secondary online markets. Amazon, for example, is a highly viable outlet for unmovable goods, allowing you to reach a completely different global audience of bargain hunters just to recoup some of your costs.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the jagged rocks hiding under the water to the exact math of the Wilson model, right down to clearing out your dead stock. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Walk into your warehouse, or take a hard look at your ledger right now. Is your current inventory acting as an asset that's actively driving your business forward? Or has it silently become a liability that's just draining your cash? Use the tools from this explainer to find out. Thank you so much for learning with me today.